What is your name?
My name is Chris Harrington,
How old are you?
49 years old.
Do you consider yourself an addict?
Yes.
What are you addicted to?
Alcohol, cigarettes, sex,
How often do you drink and smoke?
daily.
How much daily?
Usually a pack of cigarettes a day and anywhere between 6 and 12 beers a day.
Alright. Why do you drink and smoke?
Don't know. It's a good question. I can really answer that.
You were in the military, correct?
Yes, I was.
How long?
12 years.
What were you in?
Rhode Island National Guard.
Do you think your time in the military helped fuel your addiction?
Yes. When I was in basic training, I had started smoking when I was younger. I was in basic training when I was 18 years old, and that's when every hour or so you take a break. When you're taking classes, they give you a 10-minute break every hour, and they always call it a smoke break. And they say, "All right, smoke them if you got them." And I ended up starting smoking again because of the military. And then also when we take long convoys, sometimes we take 2-day trips and you're driving on the highway 30 miles an hour, smoke about 100 cigarettes a day then. So, and alcohol, we always snuck the alcohol out into the fields with us and everybody drank. And so yes, absolutely, it has something to do with it.
Has your addiction hurt your health in any way?
Absolutely. I have kidney issues, bad liver, asthma, and I smoke, and sleep apnea, and everything derives around smoking and drinking. So
And why do you still continue to do it?
I'm a moron. It's the only thing I can think of. Knowing, I answer that question. I know it's bad for me. It's just, it's in the word addiction. It's one of those things where no matter how much you want to stop, you continue to do it, even if it is either unhealthy or it's not beneficial to you. You still do it. And so it's like you can't live without it, you can't live with it, you know. So it's one of those things. I drink almost every day when I work by myself, and then sometimes I'll go 3 or 4 days without drinking or smoking. But as soon as I drink, I smoke cigarettes. So that all works together as one. And that's a smoker's cough right there. So.
So then, do you want to free your addiction?
Yes, absolutely. I think everybody does.
What steps have you taken to stop your addiction?
I've stopped drinking, like I said, quite a few times. I'll stop. I'll go. Sometimes I've gone up to 12 days straight without drinking or smoking. Sometimes I've gone 2 months. I've always had to stop drinking in order to stop smoking cigarettes. It's because it's just one thing works into the other. But I have taken steps as far as with the smoking. My doctor's given me patches. They're sitting in my room as of this day. Had them for 9 months now. I've never put one on. And I think the other steps that I've taken in the past is just to change everything that I do. When we used to live up the road here. We had a bakery, and I drove to work a long way in the morning. And I used to smoke 3 cigarettes a day on the way to work. So what I did was I would drink tea in the morning. As soon as I pick up that tea, I want to have a cigarette. So I changed my whole habits. Instead of drinking tea, I drink milk, because nothing goes good with milk, cigarettes, or beer, or anything like that. So that ended up helping me a lot. And then at like coffee break, everybody smoked cigarettes. I'd go out and sit in my truck, so I was by myself, so I wasn't around them. But those are all the steps. You have to get over the hump. But as far as cigarettes are, it's in your system, the nicotine, for 30 days. So if you take one drag of a cigarette within that 30-day period of you quitting, it starts the whole cycle over again. So once you get beyond that 30-day hump, it's not as bad. But there's things that trigger you. You know, it's just like any addiction. It's a psychological thing, but it's also in your blood. So my parents are addicts, like my mother was an alcoholic. If your mother's an alcoholic, you have like a 90% chance of being one yourself. So that's important to know the family bloodline. And my mother's side of the family, everybody was an alcoholic. So I think everybody in my family, my brothers and my sister, everybody drinks. My sister stopped, but everybody, again, it's in the bloodline. So to answer your question again, trying to quit. I've done several different things, but it's always easy to fall backwards. So you can help me.
How do you think you'll be until you're free of your addiction?
Excuse me, say again?
How long do you think it will be until you're free from your addiction?
That's really hard to say. Like I said, just to get the stuff out of your system is, I don't know how alcohol is, maybe a little bit less time, but I know cigarettes is 30 days. So, but the last time I quit, I went for 3 months, and then I started again because I was working in a bar, and people kept asking me, "Oh, come on, come outside and have a cigarette." And they didn't know I quit, but it's one thing after another. It's certain things that trigger you off, and so in order to quit, it would take several months. So how long would it take to actually get over addiction? I would say not less than a year. I've been destroying my body for 35 out of my 49 years, something like that. So it's not something that happens overnight. It takes a long time, and then I don't know if the addiction part will ever go away. You can stop the cycle of using the alcohol, the cigarettes, whatever it may be, drugs, sex, gambling. There's all those things work into being an addict. But you can stop the cycle, but you're always going to be an addict. So it's not like if I went a year without drinking, then I can just say, all right, I'll have a beer. Because I can have just one beer, but then all of a sudden the next week, I can have one. So you have one before you know it, you're right back where you started. So that's all part of the addiction process. Same thing with cigarettes. I actually started smoking cigarettes when I was 5. Just to stop, I'm going to say I have to do it quick or I'm going to die. So one way or the other, it's going to stop. But I have asthma really bad and smoking cigarettes, and I have a chronic sinus infection called chronic sinusitis. It's another bad thing, an issue of both drinking and smoking. And smoking, it also, people don't realize, I think it's just bad for your lungs. It ruins your heart more than anything. So luckily my heart's still pumping okay. But so time-wise, it's hard to say, but I mean, 6 months of not drinking or smoking, and I'll tell you what, the drinking part doesn't bother me as much as the smoking. Smoking cigarettes is just horrific. There's no benefit to it whatsoever. It's just bad, and it costs a lot of money. So that shows you right there the problems of addiction, stupidity. I mean, a waste of money, and you're hurting yourself. So that's about all I know about that question.
For my final question, is there anything you'd like to say to young adults who are smoking and drinking right now?
Yes, don't ever pick up a cigarette, whatever you do. I have so many nieces and nephews that smoke cigarettes, and obviously you know who they are. They're all your age. They're all young college students, or just right that age, anywhere between 18 and 22, 23. And they all smoke cigarettes. And that is the first thing, when I was a kid, you didn't really know any better. They just started coming out with the Surgeon General's warning. My father started smoking cigarettes in World War II. They came out with the C rations. They were given to you, so that was a stupid thing. But nowadays, people should know better. It's so horrible. It's so expensive, and you just know it's bad for you. Alcohol, it's like one of those bridge drugs. You start drinking, start smoking, next thing you know you're smoking weed, next thing you know you're doing coke, you end up doing heroin and end up in jail. So my advice to anybody that was thinking of starting to do either is don't ever, just say no. Nancy Reagan, just say no. Okay, so that's the best advice I give you. Hopefully you listen to that and you never drink or smoke.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Good job interviewing.